Good morning, everyone. I am pleased to welcome you to our History Debate 2021 with the theme, The Greatest Debate, Rizal Retraction. On behalf of the House, I welcome our adjudicator for this morning, Ms. Chares Landesa. So now, sitting on the right side, the affirmative side, please give me a wave. While on the left side, the opposition. This House motion believes that the acts of Jose Rizal before the said execution have caused renouncement in Masonry and retraction against Catholic Church. Starting off, may I call the first speaker for the affirmative side, Ms. Marie Cristel Goson. You may now defend your side.
Good morning, Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. We, the affirmative side, believe that Jose Rizal abjured Masonry and retracted his statements against the Catholic Church. The document presented to the public is a strong evidence that Rizal had truly withdrawn in Masonry and retracted. Let us first address the documents. First, the, 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 the letter of Rizal to his mother received on January 5, 1893. The letter says that Rizal have been going to church every Sunday in Dapitan. Doesn't this show that Rizal had truly returned to church? Next, the testimony of the eyewitness, Father Balaguer, who was with Rizal and presented the retraction format prepared by Father Piyupay, the superior of Jesuit Society in the Philippines. Before the execution, he stated that on December 29, 1896, day before the execution, Rizal have accepted and signed the document. On May 13, 1935, Father Manuel A. Garcia found a document of Rizal's retraction. Isn't the account of the eyewitness not enough proof of retraction?
Thank you, Ms. Marie Cristel Goson. For now, the leader of the opposition, may I call Mr. John Clyde Kisto for me now review the previous statement and provide your constructive for your side.
Thank you, Ms. Chairman. With the opposition side, believe that said documents were forced according to an online source, joserizal.ph, maintained by Jose Rizal University. The fact of documents forgery was revealed by Father Balaguer himself. Father Balaguer said that he could remember whose exact copy was the document, and even Father PUP could verify it in his own statements. The copy of retraction paper that was said to be signed by Rizal was even kept secret and was only published in newspapers. Who claimed to have seen and read it when Rizal family requested for the original copy was found in the Archdiocese archives. Instead of ending dubs, it only caused more argument and question in many people because of significant difference in the text of the retraction documents. According to Ricardo Pascual PH, who was given permission by the Archbishop no Salida to examine the documents, later concluded in his book Rizal Beyond the Grave that the documents presented was a forgery. Moreover, Rizal didn't expressly say that the retractive masonry. He only said that he hated masonry. So how is this a strong evidence of withdrawal and retraction? And if you say that Rizal really retracted, how come he was still executed? Wasn't the retraction enough for salvation of Rizal?
Thank you, Mr. Casto. Now let us call the second speaker of the affirmative side, Mr. Kent Bakakaw.
In your argument of the forgery of the documents, it was also reasoned out in the same site that what the Archbishop and Father Paiso was not the original document of retraction. And the original document, which was almost eaten by termites, was kept by the priors for the preservation. Additionally, the retraction is significant document because it established the act of marriage between Jose Rizal and Josephine Bracken. In the Pitan, the condition of them to be wedded was the retraction. No retraction, no marriage. In other words, Rizal could never marry Josephine unless he retracted first. And the sworn statement of the eyewitness, like Father Bulaguer, agreed that there was a retraction and marriage between the two. Moreover, after his marriage, Rizal dedicated a Catholic devotional book to his two sisters, Josefa and Trinidad, and also as well as his wife Josephine, which in this dedication mentioned, "To my dear and unhappy wife Josephine." Aren't these books proof of Catholicism? In addition, he said in his letter, I abominate Masonry as an enemy of the church and of the society, prohibited by the church. He used the word abominate, which means to detest in the highest degree. Abhor, in this case, he used a stronger language than I retracted Masonry. Likewise, Rizal was suspected of rebellion, sedition, and illegal association against Spanish government. The retraction document isn't related to what was he accused for, and as a consequence, it does not save him from execution. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bakakaw. Now, let us call the second speaker of the opposition, Mr. Francis June Pakatang.
Right, thank you. It is surprising that you speak marriage when in fact there was no document of marriage between Josephine and Rizal. Consequently, a number of Rizal writings and letters does not mention. Josephine and his wife, correspondingly, Rizal did not even call Josephine wife, and his last letter of Me Ultimo Adios, which was the last written text of him before his execution, and that letter. He said his farewell to her as follows: Adios dulce extranjera, me amiga, me alegría. Instead, adios dulce extranjera, me esposa, me alegría. More so, if Rizal died as a Roman Catholic, and you have argued, then he should have been buried properly fitted to him. As for us, his burial was still concealed with mystery because it is said that he was buried in a lot out of the Roman Catholic cemetery, and Paco and his name did not appear in the registry for Roman Catholic. In these circumstances, did Rizal really die as a Roman Catholic?
Thank you, Mr. Pakatang. Now, for the last speaker of the affirmative side, may I call Ms. Rubina Inoy? You may now say your words and conclude your side's argument.
With regards to no documents of the marriage or having been not mention of Josephine in Rizal's writings, it is explained in Garcia's account in his book, The Great Debate. Rizal retraction that Father Manuel A. Garcia found or discovered the retraction letter, including the marriage certificate of Josephine and Rizal. It is also explained why Josephine was not mentioned in Rizal's writings as his wife. It is because they were married before the execution or earlier, their marriage. More so, Rizal's Mi Ultimo Adios, the last official writing of Rizal, was written a day or so before the execution. In other words, before the before the marriage. In addition, it is possible that Rizal was not buried in a Roman Catholic church was because he was already accused as a traitor against the Spanish, even though we Filipinos know that he is not. It is logical to think that the Spaniards didn't want an enemy to be buried with a decency, and Rizal was no exception to that. In conclusion, Rizal truly abjured Masonry and retracted his accusations against the Catholic Church for the reasons that Masonry is the enemy and prohibited by the Church, and Rizal was starting to return to his church. In this case, Rizal did not fight the Catholic religion. Rather, he fought those who abused the religion and the manner that the friars practiced during the time. All of these reasons are proved and evidenced by documents presented and found by people, as well as the statements testified and eyewitnesses.
Thank you, Miss Inoy. And for the opposition, Miss Jennifer Inoy, the last speaker, you may now also conclude your side's argument and preside your final words.
About the related Catholic books that Rizal gave to Josephine and his sister, this doesn't match that which as an evidence as the Josephine was still in the Catholic faith and was only fitting that Rizal had finally retracted his words against the church. Moreover, about the forgery of the documents, there are three copies of the documents about the retractions. The first one indicates a year of 1890. The second one changes it into 1890. And the final one, the written year 15/18/96. Isn't this enough proof that there was a forgery of the retraction event? Father Balaguer, who was an eyewitness, has some inconsistencies in these statements. We therefore conclude that the absence of the marriage document of Rizal and Josephine and his burial outside the Catholic Church cemetery of Poco Churros that Rizal did not retracted back to the church, the lack of sufficient evidence or evidences prove that Rizal's retraction was just a false accusation.
Thank you, Miss Jennifer Inoy. The debate proper is now over. Thank you all very much for your great arguments. Now let us hear what the adjudicator thinks about the performance of our two teams. Miss Chares Landesa, please give some comments on both teams' performance and the result of today's debate.
Thank you so much. Since both sides have already presented their arguments, let me please give my remarks for each side. For the affirmative side, they have given the propositions and defended the motions, while the opposition side refuted and negates these motions. As for this session, the affirmative side have presented their positions and testimonies from eyewitnesses that are directly involved in the said event. You stood by the reason of Rizal's retraction, which is to marry Josephine. The one thing I wanted to question is the presence of the retraction letter, while the opposition side have mentioned about the forgery of documents and presented more critics, theories, and allegations about the motion and although presented sources. It seems that it has bias as it came from school in favor of Rizal. Therefore, the winner of this debate is the affirmative side. Yet, despite this controversy, it does not make Rizal less as a hero. It does not devalue him for he made significant things that opened the eyes of many Filipinos. Through him, the nationalism and patriotism of Filipinos was lit and now been forever burning. With that, I now declare this House adjourned. Thank you.
Mm.